Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'm so excited about because it is a full face of E.L.F. Causemetics. So I created this whole look using products from just E.L.F. Causemetics. I really hope you enjoy it and I really hope you are as excited as I am because who doesn't love affordable makeup? In this video, I'll be using some of my old favorites as well as testing out some products that are pretty new to me. So if you are excited about this full face of E.L.F., then you came to the right place. So my skin's already prepped with moisturizer and sunscreen and all of that, but to prime the skin, I'm actually going to use the Luminous Putty Primer. This came out after the Poreless Primer, but I actually like this one better because, like the name says, it has a luminous quality, but it also, I think, has a much softer texture and really blends into the skin a little bit easier. There's also not too much shine in it, so you don't have to be afraid of using it, all over the face. But if you really are worried about it, or if you have more oily skin, you might want to just focus it on the higher points of the face. I think that this primer does everything that the Poreless Primer claims to do, but I think it does a better job because it really just goes onto the skin beautifully. And I found that you can go overboard with the Poreless Putty Primer way easier than this one. For the base, I'm going to be combining both the Flawless Satin Foundation and the Foundation Serum. The Flawless Satin Foundation I have in the shade Caramel, and the Foundation Serum I have in the shade Medium Dark. I like the Flawless Satin Foundation, but it is a little bit thick for my taste. So I actually like to use this Foundation Serum to sheer it out. And it also gives me a slightly better color match than either of these products on their own. So I'm just mixing it on the back of my hand. I'm just dotting it all over the face here. And you can see that's a really good shade match. I'm taking my E.L.F. stipple brush to blend this out. This was like hiding in my collection until a few days ago. Pulled this out to quickly blend some foundation, and it blends out beautifully, as you can see here. For concealer, I'm taking the 16-Hour Camo Concealer as well as the Hydrating Camo Concealer. The matte one is in the shade Deep Chestnut, and the hydrating one is in the shade Tan Neutral. I'm going to use the Camo Concealer to really conceal the dark areas, and I'll be using the Hydrating Concealer to do more of highlighting. I remember when I originally tried this very soon after it came out, the Camo Concealer, the original one, and I did not like it at first, and I think it's because I was using way too much product, but it has quickly become one of my favorite concealers, an everyday staple for sure. I do have dry skin, but I find that this doesn't dry my skin out if I don't use too much. Alright, now I'm going to take my sponge to make sure everything is nice and blended out. This sponge isn't by E.L.F., but E.L.F. does make a really nice blending sponge, and I want to say it's a purple one. I think it's called like the Total Control blending sponge. Very nice one. Now to set the under eyes, I'm going to use this Halo Glow Setting Powder, and this is actually very new to me. I was a little bit nervous about using this because it is a powder that has radiance to it, and I've never used a powder like that before. But so far, I'm actually really enjoying it, and I'm really loving how it doesn't take away from just the life that you want to have underneath your eyes, it doesn't leave them looking like so dry. I am really careful. I don't use too much, but I am using it with a damp sponge here. So you can see it definitely mattified the area, but not so much so that like this whole area just flattened out, Face looks really nice so far. What do we think? Yes. So moving on to cream contour, and I swear every time I go on the E.L.F. website, it is like sold out. I don't know if they're discontinuing it, which I really hope not because I love this, but this is actually the E.L.F. concealer palette, and this is in the dark shade. And you can see all these beautiful deep cream shades. Please, E.L.F., don't get rid of this, please. And I'm actually going to take the same brush I used to blend out my concealer. I'm going to wipe it off a little bit. And I'm going to dip into the two deepest shades because I'm a A little tan from summer right now. And just tap. Look at that. Like, I haven't even truly blended it out yet, but it's beautiful. Whoa, that was probably too much. Okay. We're gonna move to this side real quick. I'm literally gonna take from that side. Put it right here. So aside from, you know, this user error, I love, 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 love using this concealer as a cream contour. I'm sorry, did I say cream contour? I meant cream bronzer. I love using this as a cream bronzer. Of course, like with my placement, I am sculpting the face just a bit, but the idea with this particular product for me is just to warm up the face. Alright, so the skin is looking very beautiful, very dewy and radiant. I don't have on any highlighter, but you can still see just the radiance of the skin. It is beautiful. So E.L.F. makes a lot of really great blushes. I used to have those like 4-pan blush palettes, and I also have one of their primer infused blushes, which I also highly recommend. They're both really good products. But lately I've actually been loving using this Seriously Satin lipstick in the shade Nectar as a cream blush, and it works so well. And I'm gonna actually use this on my lips later on as well, and I think tying it in just makes it really nice. Nectar is just like this peachy nude shade for darker skin tones. And I don't know that that's what the intention was, and I honestly don't know how this looks on lighter skin tones, but for me, it's a beautiful peachy nude, and I love it. Alright, so I took some on the back of my hand, and I'm just going to use my brush, swirl it in there, and just dab it. Now you can also apply the lipstick directly to the cheek. I just don't like doing that because I don't want foundation on my lipstick when I'm about to like put it on my lips later. And I find that this is just a little bit easier to control. Because this is like a satin lipstick, it doesn't dry down too much and get like really sticky and hard or anything. And if you really are worried about setting it down, then, you know, I would use a translucent setting powder. Alright, you see how it gives that really pretty flush? And it also just blended right into the cream bronzer that I applied earlier. Now I am going to go ahead and set the cream bronzer with a powder bronzer with a product that has been discontinued. And I have come on here to say, E.L.F., please bring it back. This is the bronzer duo in Turks and Caicos. And it has been discontinued, and I don't understand why. Bring it back. Alright, and I'm just going to apply that with this fluffy brush here. And, like, guys, I know that E.L.F. like just recently came out with these like $3 2-pan bronzer and like cheek duos and stuff, but like there is no telling if any of those bronzers will actually be deep enough to use like on my skin as a bronzer. And this was just such a win. It looks really cool toned in the pan, but it actually goes on the skin pretty warm toned, and it's just so gorgeous. It has a little bit of sheen to it. I'm never gonna throw this away. Like, this is one of my favorite bronzers, and this was actually one of the first bronzers I ever found that works on my skin tone. So E.L.F., please bring it back. Like, I probably already have on enough bronzer, but like, I'm gonna add more. Now that we're done with the face, we're gonna move on to the eyes, and I've got the E.L.F. Causemetics 90s Mood Palette here. It has these really pretty grungy shimmers. I might also whip out this E.L.F. Bite Size palette, and this is in the style Truffles, just depending on if I don't have quite enough in this to make a full look, but I honestly think that I should be able to do a full look with this. So I'm going to prep the eyes using some of that Camo concealer. I'm actually going to set that down using some of that Halo powder because I haven't actually done that before. I wonder if it would like a slightly luminous quality to that eyes. It definitely looks a little bit more lifelike than if I had used my normal Maybelline setting powder, Maybelline Fit Me setting powder to set the eyes. To start, I'm going to take this shade as kind of a transition shade and go in the crease with that. Now it's a little deeper than I thought it was going to be, so I'm going to use a very light hand here. And I really like this like pinky purple shade that's on the end here, so I'm going to take that kind of on the outer V. It's been a long time since I've put I've done an eye look with mainly shimmer shades, but I actually really like how these shadows are performing. They're very buttery, very smooth. Alright, now I'm going to take this brighter gold shade here on my finger, and I'm going to go on the lid with this. I can't get over how buttery these shadows are. I do have a few E.L.F. palettes, but I'm pretty sure this is the first time I'm using this particular one. And while I feel like E.L.F. shadows used to be very hit or miss, they have definitely come a long way. I'm going to take a teeny tiny brush and go into this dark black shade here, and I'm going to use it as a liner. I'm just doing it on the outer edges to thicken the lash line. I'm not winging it out or anything. Now I do want to go on the lower lash line and kind of replicate everything that I did. So first I'm going in with that like deep gold shade that I used in the crease. So I really like how this eye look looks. It's definitely more on the subtle side, and I'd like to actually go back and try out some more of the colors from this and really create a nice grungy look. But for right now, I'm actually really happy with this pretty summer look. Next, we're going to move on to the brows, and this product I think was not this exact one, but this product was the very first product that I brought from E.L.F. And in fact, it was probably one of the very first makeup products I ever bought. I remember these being super affordable. I think they were $1 at the time, but now they're only $2, so they didn't go back up in price. But this is the, I haven't even said the name, this is the Instant Lift Brow Pencil, and I've got the shade Dark Brown. Let me make sure I'm not lying. Deep brown. Now, while the tip does get kind of dull after you use it for a while, I do like that it starts out with a nice sharp tip for you. And I'm basically just going to use this to fill in the brows. Now, I haven't actually tried their micro pencil. I really want to. You can already see the difference between this brow and this brow. And this color works really well for me. It's not too deep, not too light, not too red. To set the brows in place and kind of fluff them up a little bit, I've got the E.L.F. Wow Brow. And this is also very new to me. I just tried it for the first time a few days ago. And at first, I thought that I was going to compare it to my ColourPop Brow Boss. But the ColourPop Brow Boss, it's actually slightly smaller. So this, I actually found that it gives me a little bit better control than the ColourPop Brow Boss, which I was surprised about because I mean, I really love that Brow Boss gel. But also, the color on this, what is it? On this deep brown is better than the dark brown that ColourPop has. It's just not dark enough for me. There's just something about it where it just doesn't sit in my brows the way that I like it to. I don't mind when I put it on over like the dip brow or like a brow pencil, but using it alone is just slightly too light for me. So the brows and eyes are looking good. Let's move on to highlight. So I just looked it up and I realized the palette that I'm using my highlight from has actually been discontinued. I'm sorry. But I can't help it. I love everything in this palette. This is the Modern Metals palette, and this came out, I believe, as a collaboration with like a lot of influencers. Like a lot of influencers put their input on this, and I think it turned out gorgeous. Of course, I was not happy at first with, you know, these two lighter shades of blush, but all of them actually work for me, particularly when I mix this lighter shade with the two deeper shades. But this highlight formula, E.L.F. snapped. There's actually another palette that's very similar to this that is still on the market, and I wonder if it's just this exact same formula, just repackaged with different colors and everything like that. So if I try that out, I will definitely keep you updated. But for now, I'm going to be using the highlighter that is right in the middle, this kind of rose gold shifty highlighter. Formula is a little powdery, but I love it. As you can see, that even though I like went overboard, it still looks very nice, just kind of blends into the skin. It's blinding, but it's not glittery, and that is just what I look for in a highlighter. Alright, for the lips, I don't have a lip liner from E.L.F., so I'm just going to pop on this Wet n Wild lip liner in the shade Chestnut. And just blending out the edges. And now I'm taking this E.L.F. Seriously Satin lipstick in Nectar. Guys, this is an everyday favorite. Like, it's a damn shame that I have to wear a mask everywhere because no one gets to see these lips when I got this combo on, but it's fine because I do it for me. It is beautiful. This is a beautiful formula, very comfortable formula. It lasts a pretty long time, definitely not as long as like, you know, your liquid lip, but it also doesn't fade disgustingly. It looks beautiful through the entire wear of it. And the last product I have to share with you guys today is actually the one that I was the most excited about in this video and also just when it came out, and that is the Stay All Night Microfine Setting Mist. Now, everybody knows that our girl Urban Decay All Nighter is like the queen of setting sprays in terms of making your makeup last longer. I know there's other ones out there, but at this point, like, the All Nighter is what I just trust the most if I really want my makeup to stay all day. This one, I think, might be a dupe, or maybe just, you know, similar. I did only receive this a few days ago, so I've only used it a couple times, so I will keep you updated on how I feel about it. But so far, it smells like the Urban Decay All Nighter, and it also just, it made a significant difference in how long my makeup lasted. Now, I also used a different powder on those few days, so I want to be like absolutely sure that it was this, but I'm like 99% sure that this makes your makeup last pretty long. 16 hours, I haven't quite tested out yet. In fact, I don't think I ever really wear my makeup for 16 hours, like intentionally. But I was just really excited to see a drugstore alternative for the setting spray that we all know and love so well. I won't be testing how long this actually makes my makeup last today, but I do want to spray it on for you on video so you can see how it mists. So I'm just shaking it up, because it does say to shake it before you use it, so shake it. So I know I said it smells like the Urban Decay All Nighter, maybe a little bit more perfumey, and not as alcohol-y as the Urban Decay one smells. I love it, but y'all, we all know it smells like alcohol. Alright, well, I'm finished up with the makeup look. I just need to throw on some mascara. I don't have one from E.L.F. And I'm going to take off my clips and I will be back to close out the video. Alrighty, I'm back and I just threw on some Essence Lash Princess on my lashes. But this is the final look, guys. What do you think? Honestly, like, I think this is one of the best looks I've done recently. One of the best makeup looks I've done on or off camera. I'm very impressed. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but like, look at me. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making it. E.L.F. is one of my favorite brands, and this is actually the first time I've done a full face of E.L.F. on my channel. So let me know how you feel about this look down in the comments, and also let me know your favorite E.L.F. Cosmetics product. Thanks again for watching. I hope you have a good one. Bye. Yo.
I have four